It's an ink pen that imitates the square nib. Its construction consists of a barrel, cap, neck, ink controller, grip, fixation ring, ink cartridge and double steel nib, in between of which the ink comes out on a paper. Most of the modern art stores sell them. Check your local distributor via Google. You can buy them through eBay also. It costs around $10 or equivalent. "6mm blue cap is the best starter for Gothic calligraphy. Only with 6mm you can make small and large strokes. You'll learn to do long and straight strokes and understand the structure of letter better and faster with 6mm than with smaller nibs. Later on you can buy 3 and 5, green one, for sophisticated or smaller artworks. After 6mm it's easier to start writing with markers. There are no sense to buy pillets with nibs less than 3mm. You'll learn to make any kind of decorative elements with 6mm or 3 and 5. There are a couple methods of refilling and type of inks to use. The best is Chinese inks for calligraphy, but it's a little bit dense. So you can add water or less dispersive inks to them in 9:1 proportion. 9 of Chinese inks and 1 of water or less intense inks. Pilot parallel pen inks are quite expensive and ending very fast, but the inks there is the best option possible. Use a needle and syringe to refill your pilot. Take some inks in syringe, open your pen and refill cartridge or backside of the pen. It allows you to contain much more inks, but it can be a bit dirty in the process. Clean the needle after refilling. Take some water in it and clean after there will be no ink coming out. If you didn't do that, after a couple of hours the ink in a needle can dry out and you'll have to find another one. There are two options, printer paper or the paper for the drawings. Printer paper costs less, but inks can drip a bit on it. Paper for drawings is great with inks and much comfortable in work, but costs more. Also you can choose a different format, A4 or A3, because on A4 you'll need to write a little bit more compressed and it can look a bit clumsy. We will use a lot of paper, so moleskin is not really an option. Paper for watercolor also isn't good for it. We write on a hard surface. Use a stack of paper or tablet or hardcover book. There is no sense of buying the calligrapher desks. We are looking for an option where you can write anywhere, at home, at a coffee shop, at office, so there is no need of making workplace for you. When you take a new tool for writing, your head trying to work with it as with something familiar. In ball pens you can make thin and thick strokes, depends on the pressure. Inside of the metal barrel there is a small ball, which is circulate there and help the inks come out. In pilot, nibs only helps ink to form a square shape. Pressure doesn't change the thickness. So you should apply even pressure as the inks come out. The pressure should be applied on the whole nib and hand. As the time goes, you'll learn to make even pressure on the center of the nib and on different angles of it to create different elements. Pressure, angle and axis vary to create different sizes of strokes and elements. If you push the pen too hard, you'll get tired fast and nib's gonna get jacked with the paper. Take the nib cleaner, insert it in between of nib and clean it. Also take off the barrel and squeeze the cartridge couple of times. If the ink comes out too slow and not even, take off the barrel, cartridge, put this tube in the pen. Take the glass of water or put it under the tap water. Squeeze the converter until the ink came out. Repeat until the ink's not coming out. Put the cartridge and the barrel back. You can write it a bit until the water came off or just wait for it to dry. If the last method isn't working, take off the barrel, cartridge, nib, everything. Use the pincet to take off the ink controller. Clean everything with water or white spirit. Let it dry. Combine all parts together. Let's remember how we learned to ride a bike. After a while, your brain and hand will get adapted to the pen and this style of writing. At first, only your interest and joy of writing is important. You can try to make it everything or nothing style, die hard. Let's see how long you're gonna last. At first we have a small experience in writing, so the goal should be the same. First goal is to make straight and balanced strokes. I understand that you try to make different hardcore elements and letters that you saw around the internet, but if you stick to this goal, straight and balanced strokes, we will start to learn all these cool elements much sooner. Any calligrapher, musician, sportsman is ready for mistakes, and that most of your work will look like shit. It's like in basketball, you can't just score every single shot. So here's the same, something will work, something will not. Most crucial part here is not to get upset about it. This will take place only when we will realize that something that we wish and imagine in the head mustn't be in a total alignment with reality. In fantasy you can imagine everything. In reality, most of it didn't work. Most of your work will be connected to reality. Fantasy will give you only kind of single, fast, blurred vision of the result. This vision we can transform and build inside our head, depends on the experience, but the main judge here is reality. If we thought that something gonna look cool, but in reality it doesn't work too well, we will adapt our design in real life to make it look better, even though it differs from what we imagine. It's crucial to learn how not to get too attached to your visions in the head. Masterpieces and sheet pieces start from the same blank canvas. Let's start from the basic forms, strokes of different thickness, angle strokes, curved strokes, thick and thin one. With 6mm pilot you can make every kind of strokes from 6mm to 0.5. It's important that you'll be able to make different size of strokes under different angles, because we'll need them in our works later on. Elements like this make it from changing the pressure from one side of the nib to the other. With thin stroke it looks like this. If we will add pressure in the middle of the move, with the whole nib, we will achieve this effect. We can make the swirls in the end and at the start of each stroke. Just add the curve movement at the start and in the end.